Hi everyone, welcome to JQ's Reviews. I'm Jared, and this is episode 3, and today I will be reviewing Wonder Woman, the newest addition to the DCEU, that is DC Extended Universe. Now, first things first, I haven't been too big of a fan of the DCEU, even starting with way back in 2013 with Man of Steel. I didn't like the dark take on the characters. I thought it was too dreary, didn't have enough of the positivity that a superhero film should really hold. I mean, even the Nolan Batman films, as dark as they get, there is some sort of positivity to them. And I really feel like these new ones, like Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman...
Why did you say that name?
Find him! Save Martha!
I feel like they were missing that. And they were also missing what made the characters great. They didn't really seem to understand what made Superman great, what made Batman great. You know, Superman was reduced to this kind of dreary kind of, really brooding person who didn't even really seem like he wanted to help anyone. He seemed like it was more of a burden to help people. And Batman's more similar to the Punisher from Marvel, where he just starts mowing down criminals and just sees them all as weeds, and he doesn't have any kind of... I don't even know that. I really dislike the new Batman as well. And then Suicide Squad was a whole nother mess of itself, and we're not going to get into that right now. So thinking about Wonder Woman this entire time, because I'm not much of a Wonder Woman fan per se. You know, I like her in the Justice League, and I like seeing her in it as a team member, but I've never really read a Wonder Woman comic. So going into this movie, I would have liked for it to be good. You know, like in my head I was thinking, no, I want this movie to be good, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be because the whole DC universe hasn't been good so far. So pretty much from just a foundation level of Wonder Woman as a character all the way to just how a film is set up, I was very nervous for the Wonder Woman movie. I did not think it was going to be good. And then when reviews weren't coming out, you know, normally when a movie is good, they like to put out the reviews a little bit earlier so they can build up the hype and build up anticipation. So I assumed when we were about a week away from Wonder Woman, I assumed they're holding back the reviews. It's going to be another rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, it's going to be that 30-40%. Like, how disappointing, especially for Wonder Woman, the original female superhero, the first big budget superhero film starring a female lead. And it was also directed by a female. This has been, you know, that's just everywhere you look. There's a lot riding on this because with Hollywood, a lot of times, when something goes wrong, they pin it on one minor detail, and if something goes right, they pin it on one minor detail. I mean, that's how we got the DCEU. They looked at the Nolan films and said, hey, people like dark things, let's make them all dark. Not thinking about that doesn't work for everyone. It worked because it was Batman. So going into Wonder Woman, you had this nervousness. I was afraid that they were going to look at this movie, it was going to be bad, and they were going to say, well, that was because it was a female lead, and people don't want to see female leads. It was a female director. They don't want female directors. And then, I believe it was Monday night, late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, the reviews hit. They weren't stellar, but the Rotten Tomatoes score was up, and it was like, what is going on here? I can't believe that a DC movie is getting good reviews or decent reviews. Normally, they're always just tanking. And that got me excited finally. I thought, oh, there must be a chance for this movie. So I went to see Wonder Woman this past weekend. And without a shadow of a doubt, it is by far my favorite movie of the DCEU. I thought it was great. I think the only thing that one of the few things that holds it back really is that it's so almost late in the game for DC. You know, they've had 3 movies already. I wish they would have led with Wonder Woman. I wish this would have been their flagship title. It would have been, you know, we're creating universe. Wonder Woman this is like the benchmark right now. Because I think if they would have started with Wonder Woman, it would have felt a lot better. It would have felt like they were in better shape. Because right now it just seems like Wonder Woman, well, in a way it's good because it'll be seen as awesome compared to everything else. But at the same time, you'll always have that notion in your head, like, oh, well, does it only just seem good because everything else before that has been so bad? I don't think so, though. I think this will hold up. And I think what'll happen is I think we'll get a sequel that is even better. And I think that it'll just kind of cement itself as one of the better of the superhero movies. The things I loved about the movie, though, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, she is perfect. Gal Gadot was born to play this role. She is, everything she could do right, she does. She is fierce, she is compassionate, she really makes you feel for the character. Chris Pine's Steve Trevor was also great. I'm not not a big fan of Chris Pine, but I like Chris Pine because of I don't know if you can see him. There's a little Captain Kirk pop figure. So that's where my introduction to Chris Pine was for some of the new Star Trek series. I thought his Steve Trevor was great. He was good because he really cared about Diana, and he wanted to. He felt almost a need to protect her, but knew that he couldn't. And this worked on two different levels, which was very interesting. On one hand, he couldn't protect her because, he's just a man, and she's basically a god. So there's no way that, he can fight the mugger for her, or he can, really stop a bullet for her. In fact, they actually do a little play with that in a reference to the original Superman from 1977, I believe. And they do a little reference to that because in the old Superman movie, Superman or Clark Kent, he stops a bullet from hitting Lois in an alleyway, and in this movie they have Wonder Woman or Diana stop a bullet from hitting Steve in this film, which was a really cool little, they flipped the roles, and it just went to show that he can't protect her from a physical threat, and also he can't protect her from the truth of the world. And that is that the world, the people are not, under the spell of Ares. They are not being forced or tricked into doing anything. It's that people do bad things because they want to, because there's good and evil in everyone. One of the things I wasn't sure I was going to like while watching the movie too was her extra kind of teammates. They had, I believe, a sniper. I can't remember what the one gentleman he was there for. I think he was like I remember he wanted to be an actor, but I don't remember what his specific goal was. But anyway, there was him, there was the sniper, and there was their tracker, or their guy who was good with directions. And then Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman. I wasn't sure at first if I was going to like them. I thought they were just being shoehorned in, and I thought, I'm not going to really care about these characters. They're not going to do much. I mean, how much can these characters do to help when, they're with Wonder Woman? These are just normal men. But obviously they did do some things, like where there were bullets pinning her down, and the trench warfare, which was an awesome scene. I actually wish that scene would have been longer when she first gets out of the trenches and you see her in the Wonder Woman suit for the first time. I thought they did that beautifully. It was perfect. They kept on teasing the reveal of her costume, and finally, they built it up, and it paid off for when she got out of the trenches and everyone saw her. They made her have to defend herself against bullets, I think, was because they needed to give those other soldiers just something to do, something to help her out with, where if she was taking all the fire, they could shoot at the enemy and help her. Just little things. She sees this Native American man, this white man, working together. They've put the past behind them in a way. They now have common goals. They have friendships together. She sees the man who's normally, scared and upset, and more inside of him. He has like a beauty to him that he can sing, that he can, share this happiness with others and help make other people happy, even if he's not happy on the inside. We see the man who would love to be an actor but can't be, because his dream, because the world, he doesn't fit in the world the way he needs to be an actor, to be on the screen because of the color of his skin. So we see all these little different things, and we see Diana also know them as people and see the good in them. And even though they are a murderer, they are smugglers or thieves, that they have good in them. And she sees all of these things which help her in her final battle with Ares overcome his notions that, humanity isn't worth fighting for, that they will kill each other whenever they get the chance. I did have my few complaints. They aren't too major. A few of them are actually just at this point not really complaints with Wonder Woman herself, but with the DCEU in general. And that was, for one, the color filter. I mean, there were a lot of really bright scenes in this movie, so maybe it wasn't too fair of me to say that there's something weird with the color filter. It's just there was a lot of bright scenes, during the day, and there was a lot of nighttime scenes that were more dark. They had that kind of dark color palette over it, and I personally don't really like the dark color palette for these movies. I like when they're a little bit more on the bright side, which it was during the daytime, especially in Themyscira, which, to be fair, I think was probably intentional. They probably wanted Themyscira, her island home, to be more bright because you want that to be viewed as more of a utopian area where there isn't evil, there isn't war going on. And when she went out to the world, she went to London and to the battlefield, you want that dark filter on because it gives you that impression like the world is a dark place. It is not a perfect utopian place. There's a war going on, World War I. So, to that point, maybe that actually isn't a con of mine. Maybe I actually do like that. It's because I assume it's also because of the rest of the look of the DCEU I don't like. For some reason, to me, the special effects in these movies, they're awesome, they're cool, but something slightly feels weird about them. I don't know, it's something about the way they really make things move around the main character, like Wonder Woman or Superman, in instances where they pop. And that's once again, that's intentional. They want those characters to pop almost like it's a comic book. Just for me, I don't personally like it. But like that's a minor complaint, just me not really caring for the type of special effects they use. Slow motion I thought was overdone. I liked seeing it a few times, when she first deflects a bullet off of her bracelet, or, when she's, at one point when she does a flip and she does a kick, you do it in slow motion. But overall, I thought that they did it a little bit too much, and I would have liked that, kind of like Ross, turned down a little bit. The only other two things that are really kind of janky for me for the movie, this sounds like a lot, but it's really not. I really don't want this to come across as me saying, oh, the movie's bad, there's so many problems. I think there were a few issues, but they're all, you can overlook them because the positive moments are in the movie, they outshine the negative ones. And the only other couple little things where I was a little unclear on her power level. I was kind of confused at, will a bullet hurt her? Because we're shown that the other Amazonians can be killed by bullets. Now, Wonder Woman or Diana Prince is supposed to be stronger. She's better than the normal Amazonians. However, I still was a little confused. Will a bullet hurt her? Because she's getting thrown around, punched up in the air, smashes against the ground, jumps, 40 feet into a building, let the top of the building collapse on top of her. So to that point, I was kind of wondering, should a bullet really hurt her? And that could have just been because, we need to show, obviously, her use the gauntlets to deflect bullets. So it might be it's probably just one of those things, you got to overlook. It's a movie. That's how it works. There are little things if you want to pick it apart. And then the last point was her relationship with her power level with Ares. I was a little confused on how that worked. It almost seemed like she was getting more powerful as the movie went on, as she built up to the point with Ares. But even her mother on Themyscira, I'm not going to be able to pronounce her mother's name, but the Queen of Themyscira makes the comment that the more she knows, the faster Ares will find her. I'm a little confused. I don't really understand why that is, if that meant the mother was afraid Diana would seek Ares out in a different way. If she would, maybe if she knew about the world as it was bad, she would side with Ares and his want to destroy humankind. Maybe that's what she was going for. Or maybe she was afraid that if Diana had complete control of her powers at first, then Ares would be able to sense her and find her. I don't know, because spoiler alert, Ares kind of finds her pretty early into the plot. I mean, we just don't know it yet. I mean, I knew there was something kind of off with this guy, but I honestly wasn't sure. I thought, maybe there's not. Those are really the only kind of big complaints. One more would have been about Ares, and they show Ares teleport, where, Wonder Woman tries to hit him at first when he first, shows himself to her, and he's able to, turn into mist and teleport to different areas. And I wish she would have done that more during their actual fight, and she could have thought of some way to predict his movements. But they kind of just dropped his little teleporting, which I hate it when they do. It just seems like, oh, well, if he could have teleported this entire time, it should have been more difficult for her to fight him. But those are really the only complaints I have. And I do want it to be, known that I don't think that these complaints really ruin the movie. I think they don't make this movie, the best superhero movie. But it's still a great superhero movie. It's still great. It's still awesome. And I still recommend anyone to go see it. But really, the movie at its core is finding hope and goodness in the impossible, and when it seems that there's nothing but evil around you, and the world can never be good. It's finding the good in little things, or finding good in the people around you. And really, that's kind of one of the biggest reason I have to say I like this movie, and I really think you should go see it. And I think it's the best of the DCEU, is because it highlights what these superheroes are about. It highlights what Wonder Woman is about. She's about compassion, empathy, love. That even though she is a warrior princess, even though that she can lift a tank above her head, she can jump through a building, she can deflect bullets, even though she can do all these things, those don't necessarily make her Wonder Woman. Those don't make her Diana Prince. Those are just parts of it. What really makes her Wonder Woman, what really makes her, Diana, is her belief that love can overcome. Her belief that if you love one another, you can use love to solve your problems. You don't need to use your fists. You don't need to use your lasso of truth. Really, that's the biggest reason I have to say I go see this movie, is because it's a great representation of Wonder Woman and Diana Prince as a character. It fills you with optimism and hope. It is going to inspire you to do better. And I really hope that a lot of people go and see this movie and feel that way, and feel like maybe, the world can be a better place. And I really hope a lot of, younger girls get to see, the original superheroine up on the screen, and they can, feel inspired in the same way that boys have been able to be inspired by Superman and Batman. And I think that's really awesome. And I really, really hope that DC or Warner Brothers, they really look at what made this movie work. They fix a couple of little kinks, a little problems, and they come back with a sequel that's even better, and that the next DCEU movie can be even better, can just continue to build on what is working and why this movie worked so well. I really hope Wonder Woman becomes kind of like the Iron Man of the DCEU. I'd honestly, I would love it. That would be the perfect thing if to really do something different than what Marvel is doing with Iron Man as their main guy. Everyone knows that it's got to be Batman or Superman. Everyone's expecting for Batman or Superman to take the lead of, the protagonist of the DCEU. I think Wonder Woman by far has worked the best. Ask anybody who didn't like Batman vs. Superman, most of them will tell you Wonder Woman was the best part, or one of the best parts. And this is now the best movie of the DCEU. I really think Wonder Woman should be the protagonist of the DCEU. Superman kind of had his chance, and I don't know what they're doing with him. And I just don't really want to make this about Superman, but I do. I think Wonder Woman should be our mainstay of the DCEU, just as Tony Stark is the mainstay of the protagonist of the Marvel, the MCU. Now, I like this movie. I'm going to have to go out and get more Wonder Woman merchandise. I mean, I have, some Batgirls, spoiler, Robin. I don't really have a lot of Wonder Woman gear, anything like that. This movie makes me want to. Hopefully I can go find a nice t-shirt with like one of the posters that say Wonder on it. That would be awesome. That's about all I think I have to say about Wonder Woman. Once again, it's not without its problems, but overall, it is by far the best of the DCEU. I highly recommend you go see it. Yeah, just go see it, and hopefully, you'll enjoy it too. And let's hope that the DCEU can get better, and that this is a sign that it's going to be, that this Wonder Woman movie is a sign that they're going to be the movies they should be from now on. That they can get better and they can learn something from this movie. Thank you again for listening. This has been the 3rd episode. So hopefully you join us back for episode 4. Not sure what that's going to be yet, but it's coming soon. It'll probably be Captain Underpants, to be honest. But hopefully you join back. Until then, please comment, rate, subscribe to the video, to the channel. Leave a comment of anything that you might want reviewed, any of your thoughts on Wonder Woman. Do you think it's the best of the DCEU? Do you think it's the worst? Do you think Chris Pine should have been an actual superhero like the Green Lantern? I don't know. What do you think? But yeah, let me know, and thanks for watching again.